chat, start getting the PSNs under here, yeah?
It's her dance.
We're sold tonight with these screws. Rach, how is that a truth?
I saw that.
The guy sounded ketted up.
He was, oh God.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying.
No one's over that yet. Move on.
No one's over Jay Slater yet.
It's a truth bomb to you.
Are you talking, is that the soul that came in on one of your lives the other night, Rocky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truth bomb. What's truth bomb about that? Like,
people need to move on.
do you know what the mad thing is, yeah? He was right. There was a fight and the thing got stolen. And
yeah, but there's fights everywhere, every night, and shit happens.
Shit happens.
I remember a mate of mine asked me the next day, he said, oh, bro, you heard about some geezer got robbed during a fight? It was a green Hulk. And do you know what? I've actually video of it on my iPad. You know what I'm saying? He's not wrong there, but the blame.
Yeah, but there's fights all the time, especially on holiday.
Yeah, like,
different
to do a thing with a truth bomb.
I just think if people weren't there, you can't really say nothing.
Nothing
Even
you love.
on the early days, there was a guy who started going like, this guy done me, like putting up my video and that, saying I done him and that. It was saying, get me his contact. So I rang him.
Yeah, look, video of what fight? Who was fighting? The whole.
You'll be on wax again tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
We all will. Picking apart conversation of toenails and fights.
The whole thing about it, like the listen, like dead, man.
I wouldn't even bother wasting your breath.
Exactly. I wouldn't.
It's last year's news.
Hi, Rocky.
What's the latest news?
Rocky, while you're in here, did you not think exactly what we're thinking, right? You met Jay Slater, right? So you obviously know him as a person a little bit. And this woman saying, it's last year's news. No one really cares. Like, things happen on holiday. Were you not the same? Like, do you have that empathy where you're a little bit like, chick, back off? Yeah, like you said, look, he was a cool dude. So were you not thinking in this clip, which by the way I didn't record, it was all over YouTube, I got off there. But did you not think, like, when she's saying in this video, yeah, it's last year's news, who gives a shit? Like, surely like you and I would give a shit, right? Jay's dead. Like, I don't get that. Is she a mod or whatever? Because I'd be unmodding that man. Like, how can she say that? This is Rocky from the Airbnb. Yeah. I think that shocked me more than I am admitting that there was a fight and there was a Green Hulk that was stolen. Was her attitude in that video. I think she was just in here now kicking off. I'm sure she's told you about the live, which is fine. Like, you're not blocked. You can come in here when we're talking about you. That's fine. You're welcome to come in the box as well if you want to talk on Jay Slater. You're welcome to. Did offer Ayub an interview. He said he spoke too much. You got banned for saying the C word. Oh, I hope it was aimed at her, especially the way she talks about other people's dead children. So we are going back to. We are going to talk about the Jay Slater case. Now, like I've said, and we'll be fair to everyone, I mean it, Rocky, we'll be fair to everyone, that it could very well come out that it was a tragic accident. Jay's left because... I'm not a troll at all, Rocky. I'm not a troll. I am somebody who has a heart and actually just wants Jay's family to have justice. And that justice, like I'm saying, that could have everything, right? Anything. That could be Jay left and he ran off a cliff. That could be that Jay was chased. That could be that Jay was so wrecked he perceived to be some danger. It also could be that Jay was taken somewhere else first and put there. But we need the answers. And the thing is, at the moment, Rocky, you've got to understand yourself that nobody statement adds up. Like, even on TV, even Lucy said Jay phoned her 8:15, 8:30 and 8:50. It can't be all three. She's told 3 different stories. There's lots of different things. No, thank you, Jacket. Rocky would never come in the box without Ayub. That's why I didn't offer Rocky an interview. I only offered Ayub one. And I knew if Ayub would have come, maybe Rocky would have come, but not the other way around, I'm assuming. Right, let me just close up the front door because I can hear I'll come on with Hayley. You're more than welcome to come in the box, Rocky. I only have very simple questions. I'm not even though you call me a troll, I'm not a disrespectful person. I'm not an angry person. I'm not aggravating. I have very, very simple questions around a timeline. And we know that obviously Ayub has now spoken out and said there was a watch stolen, and it may have nothing to do with you guys. It may have absolutely nothing to do with you guys, but there is obviously information that you guys have over maybe like who the watch was Jay involved, like had Jay done anything that may have warranted him being scared that someone was coming. Is there a reason he ran into the mountains? Like there is definitely some kind of something off. And all I can do is ask you questions and you answer them honestly. I can't push you into answering them. I can't say I don't believe you, any of those things. I'm only asking for a little bit of kind of a timeline, that's all. If every day, what's every day? I'll give you a follow on that account, but when do you want us to come in the box, Rocky? When do you? I think he said he's. Did he just say he's banned for saying the C word? So I don't know if he can come in the box. Do you know what I mean? We've only got very basic questions because I don't think a lot of people in the case have kind of give a whole. It is the real Rocky, yeah. He can't go live, so. I don't know, Laura, because you can't. We can't call Rocky a liar when we've never heard his side of the story, and from what I know, Rocky's never been interviewed properly or never been in the media, so we don't have Rocky's story. We don't have Rocky's at all. He's very much left out of like the kind of timeline because we only have Ayub's story. So I don't know if Rocky is a liar. I don't know if Rocky is actually a really good guy who's just got caught up in something. I don't know if he has any fucking clue what happened that night because he was asleep. But we can't call him a liar without asking him the questions. I know you went on Insta a little bit. I haven't seen the Insta live. I offered Ayub an interview. He said he wants to leave it behind, that he's already done one interview and he didn't want to do another one. And that's fair enough. And I absolutely do believe, answer all your BS questions. Why are they BS questions? I don't see how they could be. Yeah, he's, but they're not always answered in the same way. That's the problem. They're not answered in the same way, and we just want a absolute solid timeline. So if you want me to show you, I can prove 3 different statements from Ayub about Jay leaving that morning. So there's 3 separate ones. One that he saw him last in the rearview mirror as he was parking a car. One, he was asleep when Jay left, and one, he was in the doorway when Jay said he was going to get some scran. So not all 3 can be true, if you get what I mean. That's what we're asking for, is the truth. Let Rocky be. Rocky doesn't want to come in the box. He doesn't want to speak, and he thinks all questions pertaining to the case are bullshit. That's fine. We don't necessarily need to speak to Rocky if he doesn't want to. They're not going to answer questions. But like you said, Rocky, you're not going to answer my questions anyway. Or ask your friend Ayub if you can borrow his account. Or your girl. What's she called? What's the girl called? What's she called? The girl that coming in mouthing off. Basic, not bougie, or whatever. It is what it is. Right. Okay. So. You guys are savage. Yeah. So we have a plan tonight, right? We do have a live plan to what to talk about. Anybody is welcome into the live, even if they're here to hinder it, if they just want an opinion. And I've never ever been the person ever who is going to cut people off of the live that we're going to talk about. I say it with chest. I say what I think, whether Rocky's here or he's not here. I don't have any hatred towards Rocky or Ayub. I do believe they have more answers. I don't believe they've murdered Jay Slater, and I'll just be honest with you from what I can see. I have absolutely no reason, but that's what it is to you, Rocky. It's a game. To Jay's family, it's a fucking loss. Just saying. I don't particularly believe they've killed Jay Slater. I honestly don't. That's what I think at the moment. Personally, I don't see. I've always said Ayub isn't guilty of anything. Not guilty of nothing, I shouldn't say. I don't think he murdered Jay. I don't think he did. I think there was a point at that time at that Airbnb where Jay was either perceived himself to be scared or was scared. And that may have made him flee out into the Maska Mountains. So I don't think that let's say there's nothing I had in front of me that says this is what's happened. I wish there could be more kindness and more empathy over, I love this game. Like, if this is a game, the prize was Jay's death, right? And no one can love that. There's a 19-year-old boy, no matter how you deep it, there is a 19-year-old boy who went on holiday and never got to come home. So this isn't a game. This isn't funny. This is not something that's going to go away, and it's not last year's news. There is still a family out there mourning their son. He wasn't there for Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day. He missed his birthday. So that's how we have to view every single one of these cases that we work on. He could have been anyone's son. So let's be respectful. Let's keep it nice. We also our 20th birthday. Yeah, it's sad. And do you know what? When you go onto the FYP and you search in Jay Slater, this is a kid who is always dancing, always happy, always one of the lads. Who is it, Soph? I'm not going to do it before I start now, because I'm already like literally my phone's all set up. I've unblocked so many today. I will in a bit, once I'm playing one of the clips, I'll try and do it if you just message me. That's how I want to like literally see this, is like either way, even if it was an accident, we need to understand how Jay got from A to B. Now, nobody can say that it made sense for him to walk out into that Masker Mountain rather than stay on the road you need to be on. So why you keep talking about it? Very simply, Rocky, because you guys aren't telling the truth. That's very simply why we're still talking about it. One of the reasons is you've never even told your story, because why? Neither's Brandon, is he? So you haven't watched the Insta Live? No, I don't want to watch an Insta Live where you're making funny comments and you're all going, the hills have eyes, hee hee, and all this stuff. I don't want to watch it and you're playing certain rap music alluding to a boy's death. If you want to man up, borrow an account, come back in, come up in the live, and I'll ask you some very basic questions without I telling you what you can and can't answer. We'll go, yeah. But to me, big man and big man tings don't do what you're doing and hiding cryptic clues, laughing, joking, or sat on lies avoiding the elephant in the room, which is a boy's death. Like, for me, if you wanted to be the man you can be, you just get up in the box, borrow your girlfriend's account, whatever, come in and just basically answer what you know about that night. That's all anyone's asking. Like, it takes more to be a man than boxing or people being scared of you. Being a man is standing on business so that Jay's dad has the answers that he really wants about his son. That's being a man. And I'm going to just tell you, like, if you want me to look up to you as a man and respect you, and one of the reasons I've got some level of respect for Ayub is because I can ask him questions, he'll just answer them. He just says, this is the truth. I've messaged him in the last 2 days about the new stuff that's come out, and he's answered back honestly, like, this is the deal. This is what I know. Like, he doesn't hide. Like, do you know what I mean? You can go to the gym and box all day long, but if you can't use your mind, what you got? So I'm just going to move on, because Rocky's in here to troll. He's not in here to talk or whatever. He's not here for Jay. He's not here for nothing. He's here to try and put me off, and it will take a volcano to put me off at this point. So what we're going to do, yesterday we did a deep dive into the statements people had made, into what happened, the timeline of Jay going missing, kind of the search parties, the day his body was recovered, how his body was recovered, etc. Now we're going to talk about the interviews done at the time. So we're going to talk about Lucy's interview. We're going to talk about Jay's mum's interviews. We're going to talk about what Mark Williams Thomas said. We will talk about what Ayub also said. I'm not blocking Rocky from the live for the simple fact that something one day may kick in where he realises what actually happened to Jay and who Jay was. That's it. The same as I've never blocked Ayub. I'm not going to make videos and call people out while blocking them so they can't hear me do it. That's it. There's always a chance he might come on back on another account, request a box and go, just ask me what you want to ask me. And I always find it really odd when someone's like, nah, I answered already. It's like, well, if the answer's still the same, let's just answer them again. Like, why do I have to look back at what happened on Instagram Live? Let's talk about now with a little bit of hindsight and what you know now. Let's talk about what you know today. because what you guys said on Instagram Live did not include a Green Hulk being stolen or a fucking fight. So it's changed. So let's talk about the new truth. Let's talk about, who the fuck are you to talk about this? Irish lass, go and wash your mouth out with some Fairy Up liquid. Your dog looks like a sheep. There you go. Yeah, it's changed. Also, let's talk about how Lucy was actually at the Airbnb, and it's now in her original police statement that she was at the Airbnb when Jay went missing. So again, new story that we don't have any answers to. So it's a whole new story now. Right, so we're gonna go. Okay, SJH. Let me know what you think of it. Yeah, so the new court documentation, and let me tell you this actually, because this is really interesting. Rocky, you might want to hear this as well. Lancashire Police have been contacted today about Lucy's statement that's been leaked from the Civil Guard, and they've all but backed up the fact that it is an official court documentation. So they got really funny on the phone, Lancashire Police, and they were like, look, is that the only paper you've seen? Have you seen any of the other paperwork? And then they kind of alluded to the fact, like, is there anything else out there online? Or is it just the original Lucy part? And they were really panicking about it. And they said, the relevant authorities know it's been leaked. So it's obviously been leaked. And that wasn't me that contacted them, because I've been out all day. So it was just someone messaged me, like the conversation they'd had and the number that she had called about it. So in this new statement, the Civil Guard statement that Lucy made regarding Jay's disappearance, she said that she woke up at the Airbnb and realised that Jay had already left. And that's when she reported missing. How did Lucy get to B&B? She wasn't in the car with them, so who should she go with? Perhaps the second car that arrived that morning, half an hour after they did. Perhaps she was in the car. We don't know.
Mum, I don't want to be in the line here.
Okay.
Is it okay we just clean the whole floor for you? You just got to read on it.
I read on it.
No, the puppy read on
I was going to say. Yeah, so she now says she was there. I thought she accused me of being on the front kitchen floor, I was going to say. No, I'm old, Tegan. I'm not that fucking old. The other part said about the different drug, but I've not seen the other part, Kat. Has anyone got the other part? Because I haven't seen the other part. So I was on No Faces Live earlier and Tegan walked past and said, go outside and do a poo, you old girl. It's like, she's talking to my dog. It's not me. Jesus. Okay. I think Rocky was asleep in the car. According to Ayab, Rocky was asleep 100% of the time. So I think Ayab carried him in asleep, like a parent would a sleeping child, because Rocky was asleep the whole time. So I think Ayab must have just shoulder lifted him into the house, because Rocky wasn't awake during the time. And when the video they put out, they blurred out Rocky's face for some reason. And I don't know why that was. I asked Ayab and he said, because he's UGLY, he ain't got no out. No, I'm joking, Rocky. I don't know why he did it. I don't know why they blurred him out, because the point was proven it was just them free. So why are you blocking out everyone's faces? I didn't know, because we already know what everyone looks like. Yeah, it will be. So yeah, is his real name Rocky? No, I don't know if there's any need to dox his full name. It's all over the internet though. No, I'm not gonna name him. It's all over the internet. I just don't see any point in me baiting him out. If he wants to be called as Rocky, he can be called as Rocky. It's almost like Stephen. You're naughty. So. %, when you're dealing with like a younger group of kids as well, like 19, 20-year-olds, people's alliances are going to change. People are going to change. Little things kind of slip out. Now, when you're on social media, you're building social media platforms. Also, people are going to constantly ask you questions. And when people ask you questions, you get frustrated, right? It was the other day in the live I just played, it was someone coming into Ayab and saying, haha, you got a truth bomb off Soul that made him go, fuck off. Yeah, we knew about the fight in the watch. And then he slipped up and he said that, which he probably shouldn't have said, because now it's going to reignite the whole case again. And I've heard 2 or 3 people who'd stopped covering the case saying today, I'm going to go back on it now, there's new information. So it's all going to start again. Rocky, I think it's really sweet that you use emojis like a 13-year-old girl consistently, but won't come in the box and answer questions. Right, okay, so we're going to start with what makes sense to start with is Lucy's TV interview, where she first of all gives different times. And this was one that she did with Sky News, where she actually phoned in rather than come on screen. And she was just about, I think it might be Lucy. Is it Lucy or is it a different Lucy? Might as well all come in together. Let's all come in the box and actually talk about it. Get it out of the way once and for all, eh? Okay. Yeah, no, he's a real sleeper. Like, he's one of those kids, you take him out in the car late at night and you know he's gonna have a good night's sleep. I think that's why they went out, because they weren't even partying that night. So I think Ayub just took him out to drive him around till he got to sleep and then carried him into the house. Like that. Do you know what I mean? So he just sleeps like a baby. Like, literally, he loves a good rock-a-bye baby in the Masca Mountains. He's all about it. And obviously Ayub's a big guy. We had to carry him in. Was he in the car seat? I don't know. I don't know if Ayub was giving him bitty at the time. He likes milk, doesn't he? Because he needs it for the gym. Right, so we're going to go for Lucy's interview first.
Early this evening.
I'd gone home from the NRG festival a little bit earlier than everybody else because I was tired. So I'd gone home alone back to my apartment.
Let me just stop you there, because Lucy actually sent me a picture of her and Brandon in the back of a car together around 4 a.m. to prove to me that Brandon hadn't been up at the Masca Mountains, so she wasn't technically completely alone. She sent me that picture on Instagram on one view only, which I do have the conversation. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying Heaven. I also did when I was riding your dad all the way up to Wrexham. Now, please piss off. Get out of my life. Yeah, so she did show me a picture of her and Brandon in the car, so she wasn't completely alone. Now, you can't be completely alone with Brandon and at the Masca Mountains on your police report. You can't have everything. You can't have all three of them. I don't care.
And then I woke up to
They're not even mean.
a phone call at like 8:30 in the morning, around 8:30, from Jay saying that he'd gone up to the mountains, that his phone was on 1%, so it was like about to die. He didn't know where he was. He needed a drink. That he'd cut all his leg on like a cactus.
So Jay had 1% battery, but he phoned her and said, I'm tired, I'm up in Masca, I don't know where I am, I'm thirsty. I used to like Super Ted when I was a kid. I had a really cool backpack. Like, he's just telling her everything at this point on 1% battery. And this was at 8:30. Bear in mind that it will later change to 8:50 and then 8:15 to fit with Brad's 8:31 phone call. So that is a lot of kind of information when she's like, tell me your location. And he's like, let me just tell you all this first. I've got so much to tell you about like what's going on. And we know afterwards he speaks to Brad as well on this 1%, this super 1%.
No, he had no idea where we were. So I said to him, like, if you're ever going to listen to anything I'm going to say, like, you need to listen now. You need to go back to wherever you've just come from before your phone dies, and I'll come and pick you up from there. Like, you need to go back there. He said to me, I can't go back there. I don't know where it is. So I just said, send me like a location. So he sent over a screenshot of his last location. So I went straight. The first thing I did when the phone had cut off was I rang the police. So I'd rang 911 and spoken to the.
So she called 911. She wanted to phone America quickly first. She also gave the ping location map where she was stood very close to Jay at the time when he screenshotted her. So instead of just going, Jay, I can see you, she started phoning the police and really panicking. And she knows he's only got 1% battery, so she's like, if you only ever do one thing I'm going to tell you, let me tell you this. To me, to you, to me, to you, you're going to go back up there, go back to where you come from. And he's just like, it's going to die any minute, just tell me. And at the same time, she's about 100 yards away from him on the Snapchat location map. So instead of just going, wait there, Jay, because I'm right near you, she has just decided to phone 911. And they're like, hello, this is America. What can I help you with? And she's like, my friend doesn't know where he is and he could be possibly anywhere right now. So I just thought I'd phone 999, 911, 112. Do you know what I mean?
People there, and they told me that they'd sent a helicopter out. But later on, I'd spoken to somebody who lived up in the mountains, and they'd said they had.
So from a phone call, and I'm just going to say this right because I work on a lot of cases, but normally if you phone to report a missing person, they've been missing at this point 2 seconds. The police aren't like, fire up the helicopters, get them out. They aren't sending a helicopter. They're going to come and take a police report. They're going to come and meet you. They're going to talk to you. They are certainly not firing up helicopters at any point. Like, they don't even know where he is. Jay didn't even know where he is. So what are they going to do? They're not going to come and speak to you. They're not driving you up there. They're not trying to find his last location or who he's with last. They're just like, fucking power up the fucking helicopters. And that was the whole thing. Like, I didn't go to the police station till later that day because they already had helicopters out. I'm just like, what helicopter was it? Budgie, the little helicopter? There's a civil guard who didn't even want to fucking search. They didn't even want to go out on their legs. They certainly didn't want to have dogs out there or anything else. Do you remember they rescued one man and the whole time Jay Slate was missing? And he was a hiker that didn't want to be rescued. He was like, I just want to finish my hike. And he's all over the media and they're going, this man has been found. He was like, I wasn't fucking lost. I was just doing a hike. I've got lunch for later in effing. I didn't want to be found. He was fuming. And they found him because he was really easy. He was just near the path. But they didn't want to help at all, but they wanted to get a helicopter out. Now, if I phoned up now, the police, and reported one of my kids hadn't come home, they were supposed to be home at 6 o'clock. It's now nearly 11 o'clock. They ain't sending out a helicopter. Before they come to my house, take a report, have a look, say, have you phoned the hospitals? Have you phoned all his friends? Now, the minute you say, oh, he was at a rave last night, they're going to go phone us back in 6 hours. Now, her report then changes to the police. Jay told me, you're talking too much. On my, like, that's the thing, Rocky. On your live, you're only allowed to talk so much before IAB shuts you down. On mine, no one shuts me down. Well, let other people talk. You won't come in the books. You won't come in the box and talk. Pussy.
I heard any helicopters, which
who else is going to
obviously
talk?
if there was a helicopter out, they definitely would have heard it. So I think
Talking
they
too much
just
sense.
totally fobbed me off with that. I don't even think they did. So after like half an hour, I had no updates. So I rang back and I said, has the helicopter had any sightings of him? Has anybody seen him? Like, I'm really, really worried. They said no, they've not seen anything. But they were like out looking for him. So I thought, right, I'm not getting anywhere with this phone call. Like, every time I'd ring the police, like, they just kept ending the phone on me. Like, they were just so unbothered.
So the police kept ending the call on her. If you remember, towards the end, it came out that she hadn't phoned the police until 6 p.m. that night. So at this point, she was on Facebook asking people to come up and search with her, such as the American one, but she hadn't alerted the police. And the police weren't just quickly sending out an emergency response helicopter. This is absolutely the truth.
By the full situation. So I thought, right, I need to get a taxi as soon as possible down to the police station and speak to them in person. So I got a taxi down to the closest police station. I was literally there within the hour of the phone call. So I'd gone in, I said, I really need to report somebody missing. But I said, it's not like they're just missing around here.
So wait. She says that within an hour of speaking to Jay, she has reported him missing. They have sent up helicopters. She has phoned the police several more times in which they put the phone down on her. Then she has called a taxi to go down to the police station because she needs to know why more's not being done. It's only been an hour. They haven't even had time to go over the mountains once in a helicopter. Like, the police have already said, we're sending out a helicopter. So what more in an hour did you want, and why are you rushing down there in a taxi? Because the police had already said, we're searching, we've got a helicopter out. Now, unless she is ketted up as well and she's like doing things at a million miles an hour and she thinks like in that hour, like 9 days has happened, that ain't happening.
like he's missing in a very like abandoned place. There's nothing up there. It's just mountains. She gave me a piece of paper that said that I needed to go online, fill in a form, and then within 48 hours I'd receive a code, and I'd bring the code back to the police station, and then I could file a report. I said within 40.
So, just to make this make sense, when she gets to the police station in that mad golden hour, they say to her, "Look, we can't help you. We are going to give you a code. You go put it in online, and in 48 hours you can report him missing." But they've already got a fucking helicopter in the sky looking for him. So they're not taking your missing person report at all. They're not interested, but they've already got a fucking helicopter above Masco looking for this missing person. Tell me how that makes sense. They won't let you file a missing person report for 48 hours, but just to be on the safe side, we'll load up a 10 grand flight out there to look for him, just on the off chance. We don't even want a picture of him. They haven't even seen Lucy to know what Jay looks like. They don't even know if they're searching for a fucking Yeti or a 6-foot lad wearing an orange jumpsuit. Because they haven't even taken what he looks like. But they've got a helicopter out there before that. But then you go in and go, "How's that helicopter getting on?" And they go, "Yeah, they're fine. Come back in 48 hours. We'll give you a code to put it online." She's just fucking reading Spanish at this point.
8 hours, like, it could be fatal. I said, this needs reporting right now. So we'd come up, there was literally no sign of him anywhere. Like, we drove around all day. There was literally nothing, no sign of him. I went into a restaurant that was halfway up on the viewpoint.
And is that where you are now, Lucy? You're staying at the coast, but
Well, she went out all day looking, and there was no sign of him anywhere. But yeah, it took the police fucking a month to search that same area. But Lucy did it very quickly, but she can do a lot in an hour. So we should never, ever, like, do that. Rocky, you won't be able to be president, would you? Because I would let you give a speech without him.
you're now up in the mountains where you think Jay was.
I've literally not slept at all since I've got that phone call at 8 o'clock.
We all hope
No wonder
that
she's buzzing
the
off her
search
tits.
continues and Jay is found safe and sound. But the final question is, what is he like? What's he like at home? Is he sensible, or is he a bit more of a risk taker? What's Jay like?
No, he's not a risk taker at all. That he wouldn't do anything. Like, I don't know why. I can't understand why he would come out of the house and then decide that he was going to walk. I don't know why he would do that. And then I think he set off maybe set off walking with battery and not realised how far the walk actually is.
Yeah, 1%.
And then when he's obviously, or when I'd spoken to him, he said he'd already.
See, I've covered Jay Slater's case for a little while. I'm not his friend. I've not been on holiday or anything. I would say Jay is a risk taker already. A boy on holiday. He's gone to He's actually gone up to the Masca Mountains with these two fucking weird fuckers. They didn't even know. I would say it was quite risky to get in a car with Iab and Rocky in the dark and go up to the Masca Mountain. You're going up through the dark, not anyone around. And Iab's there going, fucking hills have eyes. Rocky's fucking snoring his fucking bonds off in his fucking baby grow. And he's like not a fucking risk taker. Iab's asked him if he wanted to charge his phone and have a Camel cigarette. Iab's laid him out a towel and a fucking chocolate swan for the morning. And Jay Slater's like, nah, I don't want any battery. I'm going out in the wilderness. I'm fucking Bear Grylls at this point. Not a risk taker. Nah, he's so sensible, RJ. He wouldn't do nothing like that. All right, Lucy, you know
about half an hour. And then, obviously, I don't know if he's walked half an hour down the road and then put it into his maps. And then, obviously, it said it's like really far. I really don't know why he set off walking. There isn't much up here. However, there are cars that come up here. There are people that come up here to hide. Like, I've seen so many people up here, and I've asked every single one if they've seen him, and nobody's seen him. And this is what I find weird, because if he'd have seen somebody or a car or a person, he would have either flagged down the car. Yeah. He would have said to someone like that he needs a phone to contact someone, and also he would never have his mum worrying like this. He would never have his family worrying like this. He would never have us worrying like this. Like, if he saw someone, the first thing he would do is say, I need to ring my mum. Like, I know that for a fact. So I've never ever in my life been so worried that him.
So that's Lucy's interview. And as you can see from that thing, that interview, I mean, not that thing, I don't mean her. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense. Thank you, Harley Bob. I'm banned in live, you plum. Plum's not got the B on the end unless you're plumbing my sink, Rocky. So if you're going to call me names, keep it. Invite me then. Go on your other account. Get Iob's account. Or borrow your broken, not basic girlfriend one, or whatever she's called. The one that clings onto your every word on live. Jay Slater's last week's news on Rocky. She said you had your big chopper out within an hour as well as the fucking civil guard. Borrow Boogie's account. She don't need it. You can use my account. Dixie said you can use hers. So, if it gets you up, get up. I thought you meant if it would get his thing up. I was like, what? What is going on? So let's be really honest, right? Jay Slater could either have waited for the bus. He could have gone up. No, you can't invite him because he could have gone up the wrong way for no reason at all and out into the mountains, or he could have just walking down where there was loads of shops, loads of cars, and you know, he was a sensible guy. I checked with Iob yesterday. Iob's word was he was very coherent when he left and he wasn't wobbly on his feet or anything, otherwise I wouldn't have let him leave. So we know that he had his whereabouts with him. He knew what he was kind of doing. The only way he would come off that path is if he was hiding from something. I mean, he was hiding from something, or he thought if I go up that road, then no one's going to see me. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Iob or Rocky are responsible for that. Now, if they would just tell the truth about their part, it'd be easier to just rule them out and move on with something else Jay could have done earlier on the holiday, or even a young lad, a 19-year-old, who has taken more drugs than normal and has a perceived threat, a paranoia, like where he's walking and he's like, fuck this, it's light, it's bright. Everyone knows when you open the curtains when you've been at a house party and you're like, fucking hell, you want to die. You're like, why is the sun there? Why is it punishing me? Then you look in the mirror and you're like, fucking hell. I looked lovely last night. How did Wednesday get here already? So that definitely could be a thing, right? Where he's left, he's not had water. He's taken this and this. And all of a sudden he's like, everything, the cars are looking at me like this is happening. All of that. Now we know that also that Iob has thrown into the play that there was a watch stolen. Now, we don't know if that was Jay that stole the watch. We don't know if it was one of his friends. It could have been something where he perceived that somebody was mad at him. I don't believe all that shit, Sal, about people giving Jay 40 grand's worth of drugs and going missing. You only had to look at the state of him in the nightclub. Boy was gurning his tits off, right? There is no point of you looking at a 19-year-old lad who's like that in the middle of a nightclub and going, he's a good one to hold our stash. People ain't stupid. He was falling over himself. I just don't believe it, Sal. I don't believe he went on a holiday. He'd never met these people before. Yes, there was connections between Lucy and Iob, and there was between Brandon and Iob. There wasn't with Jay. They didn't know him to trust him. And he was more wrecked than anyone that night. More wrecked than anyone. So I don't see anyone being that unbusiness savvy where they're like, let's get the most wrecked one in here and give the drugs to him. I just don't see it. It's like us all getting lost in the woods and we find the one person who has no eyesight and can't hear anything and go, they can lead us home. You just wouldn't do it. So, Zoe, do you have a copy of that, or can you tell us anything about what was on that report? You're quite welcome in the box if you could tell me what was on it. I imagine Ket was on it. I don't know what else was on it or what levels. I think the last pictures of Jay are heartbreaking. I think the last pictures of him that we have to look at was heartbreaking because he was not good. I don't know why he'd go out to the mountains. That's the one thing we cannot explain. And that's why I say, in this case, if some people would just start being honest about their role, and maybe they're scared, maybe they just don't even want to get tied up in this bullshit, maybe they just have had enough. But if you just put out coke, ket, alcohol, benzodiazepine, or something, quite a few. No, I wouldn't let anyone go thing. So if someone would give a very honest report, including his friend Lucy, his friend Brandon, who actually is, he's a ghost, phantom. Thank you, Ditzy. If someone would just be honest and be like, this was who was at the Airbnb. At some point, he started skitzing out. We didn't know what to do. And then he ran out and we should have gone straight away. We didn't. Now he's dead. Like, those things would take away the responsibility. But at the same time, why the lies? Why people with nothing to hide don't hide anything? So why is everyone giving conflicting statements? I've had extensive conversations with Lucy, and I do have Lucy's side of the story, and I've had Lucy's side of the story since when Jay was still missing. I've never shared her messages. I've read out 2 or 3 of them because she was in the room calling me a liar, and I'm like, hang on a minute, let me read out your words. In general, I also have had conversations with Ayub back from the day Ayub's name was put out on the media. I've never shared those messages publicly and don't really have any. I'll talk a little bit about the things we've spoke about. I would never publicly show you Ayub's messages because I don't believe in sharing private messages. I think if you want anyone to trust you in any case and you're running around going, look what he said, I won't do that. What's the quote of the day? Don't put bleach in your hands and put it in your own eyes. Right, so we'll put this up quickly.
If someone does have Jay, what would your message be to them?
Will you just let him go?
Jay Hall.
Just let him go.
It's been
Got something on my desk for you.
3 days it has somebody taken him. Has he just panicked? Where am I? You know, they've been in high spirits, they've been to an event. You know, has he just thought, right, I need to go get back down to civilise it? But there is people up there. Why has nobody seen
Big
it?
Haley, thank you,
know,
Sugar.
there's tourists up there. It's a climbing. You know, it's a hive of activity at 8 a.m. in the morning. I can't bear to see where he could be, like, just lying there somewhere. I can't bear it. I don't have the strength to do it. But...
Biggie Mum.
If someone does have Jay, what would your message be to them?
Will you just let him go?
So this was his mum, obviously, when she was the first one who came out and tried to allude to someone taking him and him being with someone. Can someone get rid of Shaka out of my chat, please? You've never actually had sex in order to call yourself that. Just gonna be honest. Yeah, so when people online were like, oh my God, people saying this and people saying that, obviously Jay's mum was the first one that brought it to the internet, and I think he's been taken. And we all knew that she'd had WhatsApp messages, kind of the things, saying like, you'll never see your son again, which obviously any mum who got these messages, even from trolls, which I do believe it probably was a troll, because if you remember on the Facebook group straight away, they put Jay's mum's number, Rachel's number and Lucy's number, and they just got millions of calls, so they had to take them down. If someone sent you messages, oh God, you again, fed up, we'll be blocking you. Oh, Crowhall, don't block me, because I've never known who you are before, and I'll be with your one follower. Off you go then. I'll be devastated. Goodbye. Yeah, so the numbers were put out, so it was quite obvious anyone who wanted to say that to his mum could have like kind of falsified that text. I've never seen her before, Natalie, to be gutted about it. Come back. So she was the one that first said, but as a mum, one of the first thoughts, I guess, when your son's in a foreign country and he's with his mates at raves, is maybe someone's taken him. Right, I want to play the interview, which was the interview that Debbie done, sat down in the orange, where Rachel sat next to her and she's like rubbing her back and kind of controlling the interview a little bit. Rocky's fallen asleep again. He can't stay awake, bless him.
It's over 48 hours now since he was last had any